Welcome to the FMCG Guys, the podcast that dives into the innovation, strategy, and trends shaping consumer goods and retail in Europe and beyond.
So welcome to a special episode of the FMCG Guys, recorded not from my usual location in Barcelona. I'm Daniel Torres, by the way. I'm usually in Barcelona. I'm recording from a few kilometers west, particularly in Keflavík, Iceland, close to the capital Reykjavik. And I'm joined by Gunnur Gunnarsdóttir, who's the Executive Director of Retail Operations and Human Resources at the local retailer Samkaup. Hi, Gunnur.
Hi.
Thanks for hosting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I feel very fortunate. It's been a layover on the way to Toronto. I wasn't expecting to make it a business meeting, but it was great that we were able to connect.
Yeah. I'm very happy to have you.
Excellent. So maybe you can tell us a bit about what you do at Samkaup.
Yes, or what I don't do. No. Today, I'm the Executive Director, as you said, and the Retail Operations of Samkaup and also the Human Resource Manager. So practically, I manage all the operations of our stores through all the country. We have around 65 stores around Iceland, and as Iceland is a small population, it is a lot of stores all around.
Yeah, actually, maybe it would be interesting to know the population of Iceland.
Yes. In total, we are getting to 400,000 in Iceland. So that's not a lot in total.
And it is grown, right? Because I think the number that I had recorded in my mind was more like 300,000.
Yeah. It's growing with more people moving to Iceland in just a few years. But yeah, it's a growing population, so hopefully. But the Iceland itself is around maybe 350,000.
Okay.
And it, of course, getting smaller as people are having fewer babies.
Yeah, and you, well, that's a problem kind of everywhere, no?
Yeah.
And you grew up here and you've always virtually lived here in Iceland?
Yes. I lived 1 year in England when my father was studying, but else I grew up in Iceland and I'm an Icelander, been here my whole life.
And how did you grow in your career? Because we were talking before that it's interesting how here you've been able to do this transition from HR into a P&L role, now having both responsibilities. What was your background before?
Yeah.
From the beginning of your career until now?
It is interesting because my background lies in education. I started early studying to be a teacher and found it very fast when I just were for 1 year in teaching children. I was like, okay, I need to change the educational system in Iceland. That was my first thought. And I can't do that as a teacher. I need to go higher. So I was going to go for the governance. But of course, in the way there were some other opportunities that goes into this business as I'm in today. But I started out as teaching. Then I went to school management. I took an MBA. Went into educational like software and into a little bit into the GDPR laws and integrated that, and then went to human resource. So it's a quite travel there, and got this opportunity to come to Samkaup to build up a human resource department. When I started in 2018 at Samkaup, there were no human resource department.
Wow.
There was a staff control, and that was literally just managing hours in an Excel sheet and how much they cost. That's not human resource for me. Of course, it's a big, important part for us to manage, but we needed to look more into what we really wanted to do with this company and what kind of a workplace does it want to be. And as I said, it's 65 stores and we are one of the biggest employer in Iceland because we have 1,500 people working for us. And that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big percentage of the population.
Yeah, if you put it in that company, it is. So I got this opportunity in 2018 to build up the human resource and did that rapidly. So we just started out there, and I got the people straight away with me, because the first thing I did, I went into every job we have. I went into every store in every area that we have a store, and worked there for a few hours in each store. Visited them all, sat down with them in their coffee break room, talked to every group, and just listened for the first 100 days.
Interesting.
And then we made up the HR strategy, which is the strategy we are still driving today, is to being the best workplace in Iceland. Of course, this is something everyone can just say, but we had like an action plan. And the action plan that we executed, and we have been executing the last 5 years. So going from that to being in every store, talking to every employee, knowing all the people, knowing how to manage people, and growing from the inside, you get a lot of knowledge of the business, of course. And of course, sitting in the executive boardroom and having an opinion on everything that's going on, not just in the human resource, but also in what is happening in the revenue, and how is the marketing material, is it talking to our people, is it talking outside of our people, because this 1,500 people that work with us, it is also our 1,500 base of customers.
Yeah.
So I listen a lot, and I can take that with me in the knowledge of doing the operation part today. But in the end, I got an award 2 years ago of managing award, and that's what I'm really good at, managing people and staying connected to people. I'm not maybe the best one with all the numbers around, and I can admit that, and I do regularly to my people, but I manage people well, and I trust my people to take the things that we put in the strategy, the things that we want to move forward, and our key measurements, we take that forward together. And my biggest role is, okay, what can I do, and how can I support my people to move our line? And of course, put some pressure on people to go there.
Well, you have to incentivize them in some way, no?
Yeah, found the balance in that. So this is how we merge. So we've got a lot of success in the HR department, and that is one of the key in the company, are the people. Okay, let's combine it to the operational part. And we did that the 1st of April in 2023, and it's been quite a journey. It's been a lot of learning for me, but extremely good journey, I would say.
Yeah, and when you came in 2018 and you had to basically build an HR department, I mean, I think that we have to think it at least in 2 ways, because it's a headquarter type of HR operation, but also a store HR operation, which I think, well, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it's, I think, of course, it's all human resources, but it's 2 very different environments, if you like. What were your key lines of action to build an HR department that was also strategic for the company and transformative in the same way?
The first line I put in was that our frontline workers are number one. We only have 46 people in head office. The rest is our frontline workers. So they're number 1, 2, and 3, and we need to make their environment to be desirable workplace in every location, in every store. So what can I do to support that? The practical things need to be 100%. Your salary needs to be okay. Your environment, your clothes, your working needs to be 100%. So I started there. And when we got that from 100%, I put, okay, what can we do to make them grow? What can I do for my frontline workers to take a step forward in their journey? So we built up an educational program for our frontline workers. And we did that combined to the Icelandic educational system. So when you quit working at Samkaup and you've gone through the educational part of our company, you also go out with a degree you can use in some other way in your life. And that was a key thing for me, that it wouldn't just be some kind of course you take inside the company and then it doesn't matter the next time you go and work somewhere else. It needs to be a diploma or something you can take with you. 750 people of these 1,500 are 25 years old and younger. Okay, half of them haven't finished college. So we do everything we can to support them to finish college. They get flexibility in their work. We pay their student fee. And we try to encourage them to go and take it besides work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been a very good success. So they can go further. So if they want to be a store manager, they go through our leadership program that's also built with us, but is credited by the University of Bifröst. So you get university credit when you go through our leadership program. Again, the same thought that when they quit, because we need to think like this, we can't have people working here for 25 years like a furniture. It's not the reality of young people today to work in the same place forever. Of course, I hope they are as long as they want to be with us, but it's not the environment or the society we work in today. They go and maybe they come back and so on, but we are not supposed to think like that. We are just doing the best we can as we do. So when they leave, they have a diploma or they have some more credits than the next person who were just working for the competitor in the same age. So it's also an advantage there.
And it's a good way also to promote social mobility at the end of the day, no? People that maybe have gone a bit sidetracked of like the path of like education and so on. It's a good way to get them back in track and like give them a work, but also help them actually prepare for the future, no?
Yeah. And then we have this educational ladder, and you can go and get a diploma on store management. You can go into BS and have a business degree, and you can take a master, and we will support you the whole way.
Yeah.
The people that go the whole way, they want to work for us forever, I would say. That's the feeling, but they really, really are grateful, I would say, for a long time. But also they are our loyal customers.
Yeah.
But this just focusing on education on frontline workers gives us advantage over other companies that people want to come and work for us.
Yeah.
And they want to apply because they know that they will gain more than just working.
Going through digital transformation is hard and expensive. ChatGPT-like solutions automate and speed up almost everything. AI will replace all of our jobs soon. Are these statements all true, or just the newest myths? Meet the SoftServe Business Systems team. SoftServe Business Systems have been helping FMCG businesses worldwide to find the truth in a complicated tech environment for over 20 years now. By applying an exclusive digital transformation framework and offering a single, fully integrated AI-driven ecosystem of solutions, they know precisely what, when, and how to make technologies benefit your business. SoftServe Business Systems, mythbusters of the FMCG world.
Yeah, and you got a prize from this Icelandic government for this program.
Yeah, from the organization of employment, we have 2 times won the educational prize. One for just innovation in education that we are doing things that no other retail company in Iceland is doing, and then we got like a recognition of just being the educational company of the year 2022. So we are extremely proud of that, and that's an encouragement that we are going further in this direction. It also gives us that the people who are working with us and go through the program and the store managers out there that we really trust to do their thing as best as possible, they get educated, but they also gain then more, what can I say? Now it's the English word, but their job gets better.
And they get promoted.
They get promoted. And I always have a list of people that they are in the educational process somewhere on the way. So I know who is the next one.
Yeah.
Who is the next store manager there. So we are also like building up.
Like the talent pipeline and succession planning.
Exactly. For the future. So this was the big thing of the strategy. It was the frontline workers. But of course, you cannot forget all the specialists, all the managers that work inside the head office.
Yeah.
And that is...
Which, by the way, is like you have 1,500 workers and head office is less than 50, right?
Yeah. So we're only 46 that works.
But taking very important decisions ultimately.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so it's, of course, many things you need to manage and have control over. But in the end, it's about our stores, it's about our customers, and it's about our frontline workers. If that is 100% in the right direction, we are all like united front on that. So that was a big thing in our strategy. The other big thing was also just communication. And that goes in all jobs everywhere. We need to know our role, and we need to know how to communicate and where we should look for information. When I started in 2018, and I think it's really interesting because then we had COVID and we don't want to talk about that, but you only had email then in 2018. It's a very... it's not so many years, but now we have like Workplace and we have Teams and we have Teams meetings. And because we are located all around the country, it's so important that we had a clear strategy on communication.
Yeah.
Okay, when are we talking to our manager? How are we delivering information? How are our frontline workers? How are we getting information to them? It was only email to store manager before.
Wow.
And you can imagine if you needed to get some kind of a message down to the store, how can you just connect them on in the vegetables around that? Now you can just do that through chat and photos and communicate like that. So it's a different world. But when I started...
and 2018 isn't even that long ago, no?
No, exactly. And I remember in January 2020, we started with Teams, and my CEO...
Just in time?
Yeah, just in time. And my CEO then, he was like, oh, this is so hard to... It's a new world. I don't really like it. And then it came like February 2020, and we needed to all go and work at home.
Yeah,
and he was like, okay, I'm so grateful for Teams.
Yeah, exactly. How? I know you said you didn't want to talk about COVID, but now I'm curious. How did it affect the business, but from an HR perspective of like, workers going to, because of course you can't, people that work in a supermarket can't work from home. So how did you manage that?
It was a lot to manage, of course.
Yeah.
We needed to have a really clear section on it. So we had like daily meetings about COVID and how the stores were operated. We were very lucky, I would say, the business, because we were the first online store in grocery retail in Iceland, and we started our online store 2017, and we've been growing that rapidly since. And when COVID came, it blew our minds because everyone then discovered the online grocery stores. And we had it already in place and up and running and going smoothly and working fine. So it went from maybe 20 orders per day until like 100 to 200 orders per day.
So 5-6 times more.
Yeah. And the good thing is that we could act quick. And what the beauty of Iceland and just Icelandic mindset is, we can do everything, and it's a saying, it reddast. It's just, we will figure it out. So we built a dark store for our operation on online store in 1 week in middle of COVID.
Wow.
And just went up and running and managed to keep on this 200 orders in through COVID time and operate that very well. And it affected our revenue. We went hundreds of millions over our what we already budgeted. So we were very happy. What we did, and what I would say was unique, is we took this extra revenue and we put it back to our people. So each employee of Samkaup, they got a bonus, and they got like a certificate package. It's about 100,000 kroner per employee. So we took this millions and said, okay, we are going to give it back to the people. And we gave them both certificates of for hotel and cars and so on. So I think that's just the culture of the company. One thing that we also gave them in COVID, and just to follow up on the people who were working in the stores who needed to go to work and could not work from home or showing up every day. And it was a difficult time, of course, and a lot of stress. We put out a welfare service in 2020. And that means that every employee of Samkaup has the opportunity to see a specialist in a psychologist or lawyer or therapist or just anyone. There are like 20, 30 specialists. I don't have I have an overview now. And they get 3 to 6 sessions every year.
Mm-hmm.
And we pay it in full. And that's our welfare service for the people. There are no companies in Iceland on that time that were doing that. Somebody has copied it today, which is just an honor.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. But in that time, it was completely unique. So we were trying to say, okay, we know that this is a difficult time. Here you have the opportunity to go for and meet a specialist if you want to talk about things, or if you need a lawyer, we can help you. If you need something for your children, we can help you.
Mm-hmm.
We are here for you as our workers.
And that was for all workers?
All workers. Wow. And it did not matter, and it still today does not matter if you're only working weekends or evenings or just one shift a month. Don't matter. If you need it, we will help you. You are our employee.
Yeah, and we were visiting just before we came to the office. You showed me one of your stores, which is the discount proposition, which is called Netto. I think that you have, what is it, the total of 3-4 banners?
Yeah, we have 4 brands today. We operate Netto, which is a discount store. Keflavík, which is our store in the countryside. We try to have as many products in the same price as Netto, but just saying of it, it is not as cheap to put the milk in the capital area as it is maybe 8 to 10 hours drive for Iceland. And then we have Krambúðin, which is our convenience concept. It's like if you could pair it to 7-Eleven or Grab and Go somewhere in Europe. And then we have Iceland, which is the same brand as Iceland store in Britain. But we have already put out there that Iceland will close. We will change that stores to Netto, and that's our journey this year.
Okay, interesting. So you have a more.
So I'm trying to simplify my life.
Yeah, exactly. Good on you. And we can talk a bit about like the implementation that you guys have around the country in a minute. But maybe it would be interesting to understand Iceland as a country, just a bit of like the geography and where the population is distributed, and also what it looks like, what implications that has for the FMCG retail.
Yeah. Many questions, but yes, the biggest force in retail in Iceland is, of course, in the capital area.
Yeah.
230,000 people live in the capital area.
So that's like 2/3 of the country?
Yeah. Something
roughly
around that. And the most tourists come into the capital area. Of course, they travel around, which is good for us, but the heavy things are in the capital area. But for me, the most work goes into the countryside. I could say, because it's a different area to think about. And of course, it takes longer to travel and so on, but it's part of society. And I've already told you, and it's just interesting for people to know that not all of our stores gives us revenue. So many of the stores in the countryside, we are losing every day. But it's part of our society. It's part of our journey to be just not in the capital area. And there's a reason that our competitors are not all around the countryside. They are only in the places that are big, like in Akureyri, which is the next big city in Iceland. They are there, but we are in Akureyri, and then we are in all the towns around Akureyri also. To be able to just meet our people all around. It's not always easy because, as I said, it's difficult of the logistic part, but also just because we are so small. But what's interesting for the Icelandic nation is that we are high income nation.
Yeah.
But we are few. And but we have I can say a stable economy, although we know that inflation is everywhere and it's a little bit difficult now. But although in total we are on a good terms, and we have a well-educated population. So, but we are small, but yeah, I don't know if I answered the questions.
Well,
now I just
actually, since you went there, it could be it's interesting to know, like, what is the bigger purpose of like wanting to be around the country, even if it sometimes is a loss.
Yeah.
At a loss, because that's the thing. You have like 2-3 quote unquote larger urban areas, but then you have like extremely remote places. You mentioned that the smallest town where you are is 500 inhabitants, right?
Yeah.
So what is that bigger purpose of the company?
I would say that Samkaup, the owners of Samkaup are co-ops. So in their mind, it's a bigger purpose than only the revenue that comes in. It's also the purpose of having stores in the neighborhoods that nobody else wants to be in, really, if we just put it in pure Icelandic. And being there for the people. So built on the older co-ops and the ones that we have in the countryside, in the small towns, like when you only have 500 inhabitants, it was a local co-op then, but that did not work because with one store and one co-op, you don't have the buying power to be able to sell these products. And just the logistic part is getting harder and harder every day.
Yeah.
So when you have this more stores, as I said, like you have 30 stores in these small towns all around Iceland, it gets easier as more as you have. And of course, you have more buying power with 65 stores and more revenue than you have only with one store. So they have usually come to us and say, can you take over our store? We want to have a store in our town because it's important for people to have a grocery store in their town, but we can't operate it. So we've been like taking them over. And it's not always a good investment, but it's like this bigger purpose of it to be giving back to the community.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. What about for international FMCG companies like Iceland? As we said, it's like a market that's getting to 400,000 inhabitants, so it's very small. Why should you think that big FMCG companies look at Iceland as an interesting market?
I hope they won't, because that would jeopardize me. But in general, we are very quick of adapting. You can see that Costco came into the market and it just blew their minds because we are so quick of everything that's new. It's exciting, and we just jump on it. And we are like a big pack. If somebody starts something and we like it, we all go there. So this small population can move really quickly. So everything that's new and interesting and works, if we are happy with it, if it works, we go again. And I think that could be an interesting factor. And you can see that like Costco came into the market in Iceland and they only operate one store, but it's successful for them. And that's very interesting.
And for brand, and on the brand side, like manufacturers, like Unilever's, Procter's, etc. Like, how do they normally operate with the Icelandic market? Do they work with like a local distributor? Do they have like a dedicated account manager out of another country that works with you guys?
Yeah, most of them work with like wholesalers. We have this wholesale system in Iceland, which is not always so good with us. We want just to buy it directly and import it ourselves. And we try to do it as much as can to have the prices lower, because you can see if you take everything through a wholesaler, of course it gets more expensive in the store. And that's difficult to run a discount store when you have the procents of the wholesaler on the price also.
In the middle.
Yeah. So I think that's a unique system in Iceland, that nearly all the bigger brands are through wholesalers than directly to the retail companies. But I think the world is changing a little bit fast, and I hope they will more just come straight to the stores. So it would be more of a win-win situation there.
Yeah. Do Icelandic companies like FMCG producers have like an edge versus international players, you think? Because they can do more like dedicated campaigns to the local market?
Yeah, I think they do. And also because the wholesalers is buying for the whole market, all the three biggest retailers, they get, of course, better prices than if I would just be buying for Samkaup. And when we have been going out in shows and trying to get some brands, they laughed at us when we are just... Maybe it's one unit we need, but they're like, we're not going to ship that to Iceland just for one unit.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, it's such a small market that you would need probably to buy it for all three retailers to get the prices we want. So that's also a part that the wholesale system is bigger in Iceland than in other places.
Yeah. And this market is like a small market. So I don't know if I told you, my mother's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
So in New Zealand, for example, it's like, of course, it's much bigger than Iceland. It's like 4 million inhabitants. But it's always been a market where they've tried new things.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a Western population, but in a remote place. So you can test and learn. So they've tried even from economic policy things to, product launches and so on. Does that happen in Iceland?
Oh, yeah, it does. And I think that we are very good at these things, just to test out. We are like a good test population, I would say, because you could see very quickly what works and what does not work. And we move very quickly. And when I'm talking to my friends at Co-op Denmark, they were like, it will take us 1 year to implement this or that, but we are very quick to do things, try it out, see if it works, and then we can do more of it. And I think that's both in products and also just in operational systems. We are easy to, what can you say, manage.
Well, and I think that with this mentality of testing things and quick adaptation, it probably helps that as well, no?
Yeah. Also just in the technical parts of like cashier systems, of self-serving, of grab and go and so on. We are good test nation on all these things, I would say.
Yeah, and we were introduced by Lobyco, who put us in touch, and they're part of Co-op Denmark. And I know that you're driving some innovations with them. What type of innovations are you excited about in terms of? I think that we can divide it into, one is the loyalty side, and the other one is the e-commerce store technology, if you like. Maybe we can start with loyalty.
Yeah.
What are you doing there that you think is cutting edge?
Yeah. We started to implement the loyalty system in 2020, which is a Lobyco solution, and they are using in Denmark today and the co-ops. So we've put it in and set it into our market in 2020, and we already today have 74,000 Icelanders, and that's 10% of the population or something of the grown up of the market, and that are using the loyalty system, and that is unique, and we've implemented extremely fast, I would say, because we launched it in 2020 in the middle of COVID. And just in this 3 years journey, we've gone into and reached our goal in total. So people are using the app to shop in our store. They get some credits when they shop, or krónur, and they can use that krónur to buy again in the store. So instead of our old system is to give discount of products, and we were and we still are really a very discount driving nation. So you have a lamp and you put it on discount and everyone just comes and shops on discount. It's not good for our revenue. But today you put it in the loyalty program, you put on a discount inside the app or in the loyalty system, and the kronas are in our economy really, because you use it again in our store.
Got it. Yeah. Was there a culture of loyalty cards in Iceland before 2020?
Yeah, or not maybe a culture of, there's nothing like our loyalty system, I would say. You have the Icelandair flight points.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, I would say, that compares to our loyalty system today. But in that beforehand, we had the co-ops card. So the people who were members of the co-ops in Iceland, they had their card and they had the regular discount. But we've changed that and put them inside the app.
Yeah.
So again, the discount stays in our economy in Samkaup. You don't go and spend it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Although we are giving back a little bit, but still you will use that kronas inside our company. And this has been a big breakthrough, not just for our customers that always get 2% off everything inside the store. They get like extra discount on things that we are focusing on every week and every month. But also we can use the data. How are our customers? What are the products that are selling? How does their shopping behavior look like? And that can help us mark down a better strategy for our stores. So we are also using it like internally. Okay, what can we do better and in the future?
Yeah, because you get all this data that is otherwise unavailable, no?
Yeah.
Or it's available, but it's different. You can't personalize it as much.
No. And also for our suppliers or our wholesalers that we are buying from, we've been testing, okay, how can we do it best for them? And this has been, we've also been like just monetizing the app or the loyalty program. Because when you put something inside on a discount inside there, the sales goes up rapidly, sometimes 100 to 200%.
Yeah.
So that's also for our wholesalers and for our customers, good thing to get discount. For suppliers, we are gaining a lot more knowledge of the products. It's selling more if we put it in the loyalty program. And the next thing there in the technical part is that we are implementing games. So people who are really interested in retails, you can play a retail game inside the app or inside the loyalty app, and you can win a product. And then you just take it with you in the next time you go and shop in our stores. And I think that will change the market.
What type of game do they play?
Yeah, it's just like it can be a slot machine, or it's just like a app game.
Yeah, like Tetris or something.
Yeah, and you can win a product.
Oh.
So that's one of the things of just getting people to come inside the app.
Yeah.
Remembering us, hey, here are we. Yeah. Or maybe for a supplier just to, hey, this is a new product. How am I going to reach people with this new product? I mean, today in our times, it's very difficult to reach people.
And to get people's attention.
Yeah. Are you going to do it by TikTok, or are you going to do it on social media, or are you going to stand somebody and give everyone a product?
Yeah.
But then there you can get on the game wagon and you can introduce the product and they will just take it with them in the next shopping trip.
Yeah, and that's a good proposition, as you said, to your suppliers, to FMCG brands that want to do like a stronger launch, to do that type of proposition where you get, probably stronger engagement than just putting a banner up.
Yeah, and this we've been working with Lobyco and they are just, of course, specialists in what they are doing all around, and have implemented this in more countries than just us. But what is unique with Iceland is that we are very quick of moving and trying things and doing things differently. What we did in the beginning of the loyalty system is just to implement our staff, and that then again it comes into the HR heart of me, is that okay, if anyone is going to launch this in Iceland, we need to start with our staff members. If we get all the staff members into the loyalty program and do that extremely good, we will get the rest. So we did that. And on the first 3 weeks, we got 99.9% of our staff members. The only one who couldn't were the one who didn't have a smartphone. But everyone else went in there. And we have been building that up also just since we started.
Yeah.
Because then they need to serve the customers.
Yeah, and ultimately, like your employees, as you said, they're your customers, and also they're like your salespeople for the other people, your evangelists, if you like, no?
Exactly.
For the business. What about e-com? Because you said that you started in 2017.
Yeah.
How is that doing now that we're all with that COVID boom?
I thought it would be better now after COVID, but it seems like people, 90% of people went back to their same ritual as before. And that was a surprising fact because I thought that people were really going to just shop online forever because this is the nicest thing ever. I do it myself. I only shop online, although I'm always in the stores. But I think it's so much easier to do it online.
Whereas for me, for example, I like to see what I'm shopping. So I always go to the supermarket when I do my shopping.
Yeah, I think most people are there. And I can hear that again and again. And if they shop online, it's like once a month and they do their big orders on things they don't need to pick out themselves, like vegetables and fruits and so on, or fresh meat. But I thought it would be bigger. So in 2020, we went into this journey and we built up a dark store for our online store. And we had a third party servicing us then. Because of all this growth and our optimistic future of this online store, we went into cutting our third party loose and into our own journey of building up the online store. And we've already done that, and that's doing great, but we are in our second phase now because then the dark store was too heavy on the in the operational part. So I went back. I closed down the dark store just in May this year, my first project as in the operational part. So I closed down the dark store, and the operational part of the online store is picked in the stores. So we pick the online order inside the stores and drive them from the stores. Again, you have the specialist in stores around products all day, and they pick and choose for the customers. So the customers is none different than the ones who walk in and they know them. What is difficult in the online store is you maybe have like 4 orders per hour for one employee. When you are just working in a store, you have maybe 200-300 customers coming in per hour. Okay. So just on the operational side, it's difficult. I know it's bigger orders, but it's less revenue per order, per customer, than it would if they just would show up in the store. But I still have this vision that this can be our next phase in the future. But we need to do it on a sensible costs on the operational cost. And this thing of driving everything home, as we are doing today, that's the most cost for us. So when the order leaves the stores and is driving in the car, the revenue goes southwest because it's very expensive to drive everything home. And people are today still not paying so much for the home delivery.
Because if not, you lose competitiveness as well. Yeah.
But there, Lobyco and Vertica, which is a company in Denmark, are helping us to take our next step in turning this around, but also because the online store is more than just a store. People go in and check prices. People go in to check products. People go in to check your brand. Is this available in Netto? And then I go to the store and check. So it's also like a marketing thing.
Yeah.
So it needs to be very
You need to be there.
Yeah, we need to be there. We need to be visible, but we can also ourselves be a little bit more marketing with our right message. What do we want to say with the online store? That's our journey, really.
Yeah, no, it's to find the optimum between all these variables, marketing, direct revenue,
exactly,
service ultimately to the people as well.
Yeah.
So,
and people are happy that the ones that are shopping in the online store think it's fantastic, but people are also just very happy to know that there's an online store and they can go and look and check.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something I can't really measure, but except in happiness of customers. But yeah. So it's not only a bad thing because it's a lot of cost, but it's also a very good thing for the customer base in total.
Yeah, now with the boom of retail media, for example, it's good for like the suppliers to have that place to invest their marketing spend in as well, ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an opportunity also for them.
Yeah.
And for us to sell our suppliers, hey, if you have this room in the online store, you can have more visibility and so on.
Exactly. And we're in Iceland, which is a bit like, in relative terms, a very rich country, very few people. How do you attract talent?
That can be difficult, but we are. I'm very proud that just by talking about Samkaup outside of Samkaup in the universities, on conferences, in podcasts, we are attracting talents all over. With our strong strategy of HR from 2018 and just driving through now, and everything that we've just been doing for the last years in the like in the loyalty system, in social things, environment things, and so on. We are always one section of my job is just PR. That's one thing, and you attract people by telling. And of course, it's not like I'm storytelling every time. It's telling what we're really doing. If you don't don't tell anyone, nobody will know.
Yeah.
But that's one part of attracting people. And then delivering it with action to show people that we are really doing what we are saying that we are doing. That's one thing. With the strategy of HR, I can also say that it's grown rapidly that people are applying to come and work for Samkaup. So we don't have the problem. Not in the head office, but it can be a problem sometimes with managers outside the country.
I can imagine.
Where it's maybe there's no housing. Okay, what can we do then? Nobody in the town wants to work in the store.
Yeah.
Okay, is somebody able to move? No, because there's no housing. Okay, how are we going to solve that? So in some times and some places, we've built apartments.
Wow.
Next to our stores, and people are just moving from the capital on the other side of the country and live there 2 minutes a store, and they are not like grown up in habits of that town. Okay, that's a win-win situation for both. We have a capable manager, but we also have a new society for the community, or new inhabited, and that's good for the community.
It's good for the community because I guess. Do these communities in general struggle in terms of like this losing population and so on?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do. And this is one part of it. But we have some really good and fantastic and so nice, successful stories when people are moving all around the country, gaining new experience, and then maybe 2, 3, 5 years later are coming back with a different view and still want to take over another store or so on and use their talent to do that. Because it's a good experience for every young manager to go on the countryside and try and manage a store there.
Yeah. And due to the lack of talent and people that want to work in stores, do you sometimes get people from overseas, from outside of Iceland to come and work for you guys?
Yes,
how does that dynamic work with actually in general with foreign workers in Iceland?
Yeah. In general, inside the UE, we have this agreement that works.
Because Iceland is not in the EU, but is in the Schengen area, right?
Yeah. So that works fine. And 25% of Samkaup's employees are foreign. So it's a lot. So we need to be very capable of taking in our foreign workers and doing, and that comes to communication again. Yeah. How are we putting out our information? So we put it both in Icelandic and English. It's not just in Icelandic and figure it out. That would be very hard for many people. But one thing is, we get foreign workers in. we have foreign managers. We have managers that only speaks English, but it's our duty to educate them in the way that we want to operate our stores and pull them with us in the educational journey of Samkaup. So that's a very a strict area to go into.
Yeah. Are they incentivized to learn Icelandic?
No.
So they can operate basically and have a career here without learning Icelandic?
Yeah, they can. Do mostly in English. It would be hardest here in the office. But we have 2 that are foreigners here in the office that both speak Icelandic.
Okay.
And are people that want to live in Iceland. So if you want to live in Iceland for a longer time, mostly learn Icelandic. But it's a difficult language to learn. But still,
Because I guess that you have a lot of people from abroad that come here with the idea of staying here for a number of years and then going back home. And then you have the ones that either have the intention to stay or just like it here and end up staying. And then they have a bigger reason to learn the language, no?
Yeah. And we support people to learn Icelandic on full.
Yeah.
And besides the job, it doesn't matter in what job you are, you can come and learn Icelandic through Samkaup. So if you want, you can, but we are not forcing you to.
Yeah.
Because everyone also speaks English.
Yeah.
Or mostly. But we also support people if they want to learn better English. We also do that.
Oh, okay.
So we have had managers that are Icelandic, but have foreign workers and think they're bad in English. So we've also support Icelanders to go and learn better English to be able to serve their employees better.
Yeah.
So it's all around.
Interesting. And do you have any type of policy policy maybe doesn't sound sexy, but initiatives around diversity, inclusion, equity in the company? Yeah.
We have in 2022, we put out, policy is a very strict word.
Right.
But it is a diversity policy around all our minority groups. And it started out that the government of Iceland put out laws about equal pay of women and men a few years ago. And we've gone through that, and there is no gap between men and women in our company. So there's no pay gap. When we've achieved that in total, we were like, okay, but how about everything else that comes in the equation? It's not just women and men. It's also minority groups like foreign workers. Are we paying attention to that? There's also non-binary workers. Are we paying attention to that? And then workers with disabilities. Are we open to take people in that have disabilities? And how are we doing that in the society? So our policy, our diversity policy, takes on all this. So our foreign workers, men and women, non-binary, and people with disabilities. And I have one of our human resource specialists that is especially in this role of diversity and inclusion inside the company. And this is something we have been working on now directly on 2 years, to just be able to be sure that this group is, or all groups, are finding that they are part of our company and not like outsider. And the measurement tells us that they are very happy working with Samkaup and can feel that all the, what can you say, it's mostly about that we don't have any racism around any group inside the company. You don't want that. And if there's an issue that comes up, that we take it forward and we have an action plan. We are educating people around the minority groups that are around. We are taking inside just talking about the different cultures of different worlds. We need to do that regularly with our people so everyone understands. Because when you understand, you don't have any prejudice about it.
Yeah.
And so this is the policy, and it has like this action plans, and it has worked fantastically. But it also attracts. So 14% of non-binary in Iceland are working for Samkaup.
Wow.
So talking about attracting talent. we are attracting also other groups. In each operational part, in all our stores and also here in the office, we have at least one person with disability, at least. So that's our threshold, that every space or every operational part needs to be able to have somebody who has not the same vision, not the same background than the others. And that is also working great. And it's also part of our just society and our culture and our thing to go further. And then there are the foreign workers, and we need to be able to step in and say, okay, what can we do so you feel part of our culture? It's not just them learning Icelandic, it's also what can we do so you can feel that your culture is welcome in our company.
And how do you do that? Is there like any specific?
It's a little bit different after the area, and also we put it a lot on our managers to be able to step in and say, okay, for some you maybe have just from 2 different countries. In other stores, you maybe have 15 different countries.
Wow!
And when you do, we have like culture nights, and we just try to ask. And then we have operated a council, like a diversity council, that are what can I say? It's from all stores. Not every store, but like from all chains and people who want to be part. And they went into two days workshop, the council, and then they like follow up on the cases that are going in the society and the discussion, and the council takes it up and comes with for the executive board. Okay, here we have some kind of issue. What is the status of Samkaup in this issue? If I take, for an example, there was a news in Iceland a few weeks ago about sick leave. A person was going for a trans operation, and the company was going to deny, and by law they could, the person for a sick leave because he's not sick.
It's like voluntary.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah. And then the council came and said, okay, and how would Samkaup do this? Would they go by the strict of the union contract and the law, or is there some flexibility? And then the executive board take it up and of course just discuss it and got some memo from the council and said, okay, no, we would pay it as sick leave. So it's things like this. Nothing is like left under the table and we will figure it out. Everything is brought up on the table and we will discuss it and go through it, and that will,
So
I know how to explain it better.
It is policy in one way. It's putting a certain framework so that things are clear, no, and not leave space of ambiguity with the hope of it working out automatically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And for this journey and the things, because again, I'm not just trying to praise myself or nothing like that, but I think it's important to know that it's been a journey. It just started out with thinking about genders. Of growing into just, okay, how about everyone else? Is everyone feeling welcome? Is everyone feeling good in the work? And again, putting on a desired workplace, it needs to be this kind of culture going on. But for this, we've also got awards from the of the operation of employees in Iceland, diversity awards, but also Blaze awards, which is like awards in the Nordic countries. And we got that in 2022. So it's, what can I say? People notice. Not just inside Samkaup, but also outside of Samkaup, and not just in Iceland, also outside of Iceland. This is something that is the future. We need to be open to diversity. We need to have our eyes open of how people are included, because people they want to feel welcome, everyone. And we are just, we will have a stronger group in the end.